And this first one, David, I mean, this was, I wouldn't say as dramatic as some people made it to be, but VVD, as normal, answers questions in the mix zone. He's always generous with his time that way. And he was asked about his future and, his appearances, making 300. And as it says here, Virgil van Dijk says, I have no idea as in how many more appearances I'll make, how many left this season. Hopefully those are guaranteed. And then I don't know what the future will bring. Now, I want to ask you a specific way, because I know you've always said, a bit honest, like, you don't really stress over contracts. What will be, etc. And it goes from there. Is there any element of surprise for you that we're on the 27th of Jan? This is clearly the best defender in the world, maybe by some distance as well. And he's still talking in this regard, because there's always been a feeling that Van Dijk would be the easiest, the closest, however people want to put it. But that just doesn't seem to sit from his comments that way.
Yeah, a little bit surprised. I mean, to me, that's a bit of a nothing update, really. It's until it's actually signed, he's going to say that, isn't he? I don't know where it's up to. I don't know. The talks are kind of ongoing. I guess both parties know where the kind of split is and the reason it's not done yet, and they're working towards resolving that, really. So I don't think this is like a huge kind of update, really, or anything like that. I don't take too much from it, but I will say, yeah, I think a little bit surprised it's got this far. Obviously, the talks were kind of, did we say they were opened around October time or something like that, maybe a little earlier? Yeah. That was when that kind of came out. So but it's hard to know also how long these things take. They do rumble on in the background and we don't really know about it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's set to sign a new contract and it's announced. And you don't know how many months of work go into that. It's one of the areas it's very hard, even as a journalist who speaks to people at the club, to kind of get an idea of how this process even works, because everybody is so coy about it. Nobody wants to give too much away, really. So it is difficult to kind of understand. But you would have hoped it would have been signed by now, and it is disappointing. And the thing I would say as well is, in terms of being relaxed about it, I'm relaxed up until the point at which it transpires that any of these three, these three players are leaving, because I just think, for me, there's no justification for allowing the best centre half in the world to leave at the peak of his powers. The same with Mo Salah, arguably the best player in the world at the moment. And for me, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's at least top three right backs, if not the best right back in the world. I would say his form at the moment says he's the best right back in the world. So there's no justification for it. So, I will absolutely, and I get criticism for not banging on about this all the time. But what's the point? I'm not wasting time writing about this and talking about it constantly if nothing is really happening at the moment. But the moment that it's sealed that, they let any of these go, there's unbelievable pressure on Richard Hughes and co to kind of sort it out and make sure Liverpool don't miss a beat next season. And this is, for me, why I think they will sign, because I think there's no way Liverpool want to end up in a situation where they have to replace them, because they can't. They can't get players who are as good in for next season. There's just no chance of that. So, it's just one of those. I'm calm in the sense that I'm just letting the process roll on and see what happens. And they do happen and get resolved very, very quickly. So it will come out of nowhere. So it's just a case of kind of wait until that happens. And if it doesn't happen, then I'll have a lot to say about it, a lot to write about it. And I'm sure a lot of fans will have a lot to say about it as well. But we're not in that situation yet. So, no progress yet, but let's see how they get on.
Yeah, it will be a case of progress, as you say, seeing how they're getting on. We await any news on the contract updates. And